You're in a meeting. Someone crosses their arms. Your first thought, they're closed off, they disagree with me. But what if they're just cold? What if that's just how they sit when they're thinking? This isn't a guide on how to become a human lie detector. This is behavioral science. You've been told that body language is a secret code, that if you just learn the right gestures, you can read anyone's mind. But misreading these signals can damage trust, ruin relationships, and cost you opportunities. Here's what no one tells you. Body language isn't a secret code. It's a contextual signal. Today, you are going to learn the science-backed way to understand what people are really communicating. Without stereotyping, without overinterpreting, and without coming across as invasive or creepy. Let's begin. First, forget everything you think you know from movies and TV shows. Real, effective body language reading isn't about spotting a single dramatic gesture. It's about understanding clusters of signals and establishing a person's baseline behavior. Dr. Paul Ekman, the world-renowned pioneer in emotion research, puts it best. Never interpret one cue in isolation. One single sign means almost nothing. Think about it like this. Crossed arms on their own could mean dozens of things. The person might be cold, comfortable, or simply not know what to do with their hands. But crossed arms, combined with leaning away, a tight jaw, and a complete avoidance of eye contact. Now that cluster of signals is likely pointing toward discomfort or disagreement. On the other hand, what about crossed arms paired with a relaxed facial expression, leaning forward, and active participation in the conversation? That person isn't closed off. They're probably just comfortable and engaged. So the first and most critical step is to establish a baseline. Before you try to interpret any specific gesture, you need to know what's normal for that person. How do they usually sit? How much do they typically gesture with their hands? What is their normal pattern of eye contact and vocal tone? Only when you have a sense of their baseline can you begin to spot deviations that are actually meaningful. Now let's decode 3 key signals the right way. Signal number 1, the eye contact myth. We've all heard it. More eye contact means they're honest. Less eye contact means they're lying. The truth is far more nuanced. Research shows it heavily depends on culture, personality, and the immediate context. Many introverts, for example, naturally look away when they are processing information or formulating a thought. This isn't a sign of deception, it's a sign of deep thinking. In many Asian and Middle Eastern cultures, prolonged direct eye contact, especially with an elder or a superior, is considered disrespectful or aggressive. Science says, look for changes in pattern, not duration. Instead of judging the total amount of eye contact, pay attention to shifts. If someone normally maintains steady eye contact with you but suddenly starts looking down and away every time you mention a specific project deadline, that shift is the data point worth noting. It signals a potential change in their emotional state related to that topic. Signal number 2, posture and orientation. It is a fundamental concept in nonverbal communication. Your body often points toward what it's interested in. If you cause scare in a group conversation and someone's feet and torso are angled toward the exit, their mind is likely already on its way out the door. If their torso is turned directly toward you, even if their head is turned to speak to someone else, it indicates that you are the center of their attention. But again, you must compare this to their baseline. A person who always slouches in their chair isn't necessarily disengaged or disrespectful. For them, that posture is simply their state of relaxation. The meaningful signal would be if that normally slouching person suddenly sits up straight, alert and rigid. That change tells a story. Signal number 3, microexpressions. These are the most talked about and most misunderstood nonverbal cues. Microexpressions are incredibly fast, fleeting facial expressions that last for as little as 25th of a second. They flash across the face and are thought to reveal a person's true underlying emotion. A momentary flash of disgust, a flicker of fear, or a split second of contempt. But here's the catch. You can't reliably spot them without extensive specialized training. Studies have shown that even highly trained professionals, like FBI agents, can get it wrong up to 30% of the time. Trying to catch them in a casual conversation is like trying to catch a specific raindrop in a storm. So, dad, don't play detective. The goal isn't to catch someone in a lie. The real power of understanding body language is using it to ask better, more empathetic questions. If you notice a cluster of signals that suggest someone is tense, like a clenched jaw, tapping fingers, and shallow breathing, don't silently judge them. Instead, open a door for connection. You could gently say, "I notice you seem a bit quiet. Is everything okay?" This approach builds trust, not suspicion. Now, how do you actually apply this in the real world without being creepy? Rule number 1. Observe, don't stare. The line between observation and surveillance is thin. Make it a habit to glance, notice a detail, and then look away. Your observation should feel natural, like a brief check-in, not an intense, analytical stare. Staring makes people feel scrutinized and will cause them to shut down, polluting the very data you're trying to understand. Rule number 2. Focus on rapport, not on reading. Instead of trying to decode every little twitch, put your energy into building a connection. One of the most powerful science-backed techniques for this is called mirroring. Subtly match the other person's posture or energy level. If they lean in, you lean in slightly. If they speak softly, you lower your volume. This creates a subconscious sense of being in sync and is far more effective at building trust than any attempt at mind reading. Rule number 3. Never ever accuse someone based on body language. This is the fastest way to destroy a relationship. Never say, "You're lying, I saw it in your face," or "You crossed your arms, so I know you disagree." Instead, use your observation as an invitation for them to clarify. Say, "I sensed some hesitation when we talked about the budget. Is there something we should discuss further?" Frame your observation as your own perception, not as an undeniable fact about their internal state. Let's look at a real-life example. Meet Lena. Lena was a sales manager who used to believe that when a potential client crossed their arms, it was a definitive sign of rejection. Her response was to push her sales pitch even harder, trying to overcome their resistance. More often than not, she would lose the client. After learning about the importance of context and baselines, she changed her approach. The next time she saw a client cross their arms, she didn't assume rejection. Instead, she paused and asked a gentle, open-ended question. "I noticed you shifted a bit. Did something I said not land well, or is there a part of this that raises a concern for you?" The results were transformative. Clients opened up. They would say things like, "No, I was just thinking about how this would integrate with our current system." Or, "Yes, actually the pricing you mentioned seems high." By asking instead of assuming, Lena turned a potential moment of conflict into a moment of collaboration. Deals started closing. She didn't become a mind reader. She became a better listener. You don't need to be perfect at this. You just need to start. Start by observing with curiosity, not judgment. Start by asking more questions, because body language isn't about gaining control over others. It's about deepening your connection with them. And in the end, the best readers of people aren't the ones who analyze every gesture. They're the ones who care enough to truly notice. Thanks for watching MindHack Daily. If this helped, like, subscribe, and hit the bell. New science-backed mind hacks every weekday at 13 UTC. See you tomorrow.